I swung open my front door to the piercing roar of a blender cranking at full throttle. There she was, perched in a neon green golf cart smack in the middle of my driveway, whipping up frozen daiquiris at 8:47 a.m. Beside her sat a folding table draped with HOA flyers, a Bluetooth speaker pumping out cheesy soft rock hits, and a small sign proclaiming Linda's Lounge, VIPs only. My car, trapped behind her souped-up buggy, didn't stand a chance. I had 15 minutes to get to a job interview that could turn my life around, but apparently Linda, our neighborhood's self-appointed HOA overlord, had decided my driveway was the ideal spot for her spontaneous breakfast bash. When I politely asked her to move, she took a long sip of her drink, locked eyes with me, and sneered, "Some of us have actual duties. Maybe get a job that doesn't hinge on a parking spot, hon." I stood there, dumbfounded, watching her tweak the sun view I saw on her garish golf cart while wah-VYing at neighbors like she was running for mayor. This wasn't her first rodeo. She commandeered other people's property before like it was her birthright. But it was her first go at me, and I wasn't about to let it slide. See, I'd spent the last 6 months clawing my way back from a brutal layoff and a devastating breakup. That morning's interview was for a big logistics contract me shot at launching a new business and getting my life on track. And now this woman, whose proudest achievement was outlawing wind chimes, had physically blocked my path. I tried again, firmer this time, explaining I had somewhere critical to be. Linda rolled her eyes and flicked her manicured hand dismissively. "It's just a cart," she smirked. "Not a bulldozer. Relax." Then she tapped her custom HOA badge. Yes, she'd had one made and muttered about, uptight guys with no chill. My teeth ground so hard I could hear them creak. I wasn't about to brawl on my own lawn, so I stormed back inside, boiling. I called a tow company useless without HOA approval since my driveway was technically a shared easement. The non-emergency police line? CIVYL matter, they said. City parking enforcement? Nada. I was legally caged and Linda knew it. She'd sniffed out the perfect loophole to turn my property into her personal pop-up bar. I dialed the interview site, apologized profusely, and begged to reschedule. The receptionist was sweet but vague. "We've got other applicants, but we'll see." I hung up, sank into a kitchen chair, and fumed as the blender's whine mocked me from outside. By noon, her party had ballooned HOA cronies in floppy hats sipping mimosas. Someone even brought scones. They were cackling, and through the blinds I caught Linda pointing at my house, flapping her hands like she was imitating me. I didn't need to hear it to know she was trashing mesomething about how guys like me didn't fit unless we were trimming hedges. She stayed all afternoon, even popping up an umbrella over her cart like she was settling in for good. It was absurd, like a rolling version of squatters' rights. That night, she finally peeled out, but she was back the next morning. And the next. By day 3, she'd added folding chairs and upgraded her speaker. She dubbed it Community Connection Hour. I started documenting photos, timestamps, videos, measurements of how far her cart encroached. I dug into easement laws, filed an HOA complaint, only to learn Linda was the compliance office and my paperwork mysteriously vanished. I canvassed neighbors. Some sympathized but stayed quiet, others chuckled, "That's just Linda." No one thought she'd budge. An older guy, Tom, warned me she once fined me $50 for VYing my trash can out 10 minutes past curfew. You won't beat her. The real sting wasn't the gaslight, was her smugness. Linda didn't just block me. She reveled in it, strutting around with that self-satisfied grin like she'd scored a VY Tory. The HOA board was either scared of her or worse, her cheerleaders. One even posted online that Linda was protecting our streets from reckless newbies. Newbies? I'd lived here 5 years. By week's end, I had a fat file of EVY denke, a list of grievances, and no fix. She inched her cart deeper daily, claiming territory. Friday night, she left it parked with a steering lock like it was a luxury sedan. That's when it hit me. Maybe it was exhaustion, maybe the sleepless nights of blender noise, or maybe realizing I had an edge she didn't. Linda hadn't bothered to ask what I do. I'm a logistics consultant. Moving heavy, awkward stuff is my job. I know guys who can hoist a 15-ton generator off a factory roof with a crane and a prayer. A golf cart? Child's play. She thought she'd cornered me. She didn't. She'd handed me a bullseye, and I was done being polite. That weekend, while Linda hosted her morning mixers, I made calls, serious ones that had crane operators choking on their sandwiches. "You're for real?" one mic asked, laughing. I promised gas, permits, insurance, and steak dinners for his crew. By Sunday, we locked in Wednesday morning prime time for Linda's coffee clutch. But I wasn't just plotting a stunt, I was building a legal fortress. Linda would scream to the cops, the HOA, maybe the press once her cart went airborne. So I prep-a-check city codes, called my sister-in-law Jen, a CIVYL rights lawyer who lives for battles like this. You want me to greenlight lifting an HOA dictator's golf cart onto her roof? She asked, exhaling slowly. I said yes. She grinned. I'll draft the papers. If she sues, I'll bury her. Monday, Linda rolled in like clockwork, now sporting a sash reading HOA Elite and handing out flyers titled Neighborhood Nuisances. Spot the signs. I was resident the 3, accused of lawn neglect and public insolence. I bit back a laugh. I didn't argue or beg her to move, just waved as I measured my driveway with a clipboard. Tuesday, I planted 3 utility flex innocent-looking markers that doubled as crane guides and legal signals. Linda assumed they were for cable work and shifted her cart deeper to dodge fines. Perfect, she parked right where I wanted her. That afternoon, she held an impromptu HOA meeting, the fight against chaos. I sat quietly in the back as she ranted about rogue residents and named me, claiming I'd threatened board safety. Jen stood, introduced herself, full credentials, and asked if Linda wanted to repeat that on record. Linda faltered, pivoted to community spirit, and lost the room. Neighbors later whispered support. She's unhinged. Finally, someone's pushing back. Wednesday dawn, game day. At 8:30, Linda set up shop. Cart, umbrella, smoothies. I watched, coffee in hand, pulse racing. At 9:05, Mike's crane truck rolled in. Linda charged over, yelling, "What's this? You can't be here." Mike flashed permits. City-approved equipment removal. Call code enforcement. Her face went pale as she hissed at me, "What are you doing?" I shrugged, clearing my driveway. "You wouldn't move. It's not a vehicle ordinance 12C. Want the docs?" She shrieked as Mike's crew rigged the cart. A crowd formed, phones out, whispers turning to cheers. The cop who showed, Officer Lopez, checked the papers and said, "Looks legit, ma'am. Shouldn't have parked there." The crane hummed and up went the cart 10 feet, 20, Linda gasping like it was her baby. "Where's it going?" she wailed. I pointed to her roof. Silence. Then perfection. The cart settled atop her house, a neon trophy. The street erupted, claps, laughs, videos. Linda melted down, calling it vandalism, but no one cared. Her reign was grounded, her cart was not.